When I was 25, I met this guy, David Robinson, and he told me, my dream is to be an international speaker. I said, what do they do? And he said, they fly around the world and they speak at conferences. Well, I'd never been to a conference. It all seemed a bit unrealistic to me. A few months later, my friend Paul gave me a set of 12 cassette tapes, and he said, you need to listen to this guy, E. James Rohn. And I said, is he a rock singer? Paul said, mate, he's a speaker. This is personal development. Well, I could play cassette tapes in my old Datsun 180B, so I began to listen to E. James Rohn. And he was talking about attitude, and he talked about taking control of your life. And he would say things like, don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. And learn to be happy with what you have while you pursue what you want. I thought, I want to think like this guy. I want to know what he knows. So Paul gave me these 12 tapes, and each tape went for about 45 minutes. And I was in my car for about a half an hour every day. So within a month, I'd listened to each tape twice. And within 2 years, I'd listened to the entire set 50 times. And I noticed something. My beliefs and what I thought was possible for me were changing. But this wasn't part of any master plan. I wasn't smart. I was desperate. I was hungry for the information. And before long, James Rohn came to town. You see, he was one of the stars of the international speaking circuit. And I, along with 3,000 other people, went to hear him speak. And then a few years later, I wrote my first book, Being Happy. And it wasn't like James Rohn's books, but it would never have happened without what I learned from James Rohn. And with the release of my book, I began to get speaking engagements. And I would be speaking at a book fair in London, or a tourism conference in Tokyo, or to Hewlett-Packard in Singapore. And I didn't speak like James Rohn, but I would never have become a speaker without what I learned from James Rohn. 10 years after I had that conversation with David Robinson, where he told me about what international speakers do that sounded so ridiculous, I was booked to speak at the National Achievers Congress in Singapore to an audience of 6,000. And I spoke before lunch. And who took the stage after lunch? Mr. E. James Rohn. There is a system dating back hundreds of years where a young person with ambition but little knowledge learns from a master. It is the system of the master and the apprentice. And it worked for Leonardo, for Michelangelo, for Stradivarius, and it doesn't just work for Italians. The idea is that you find someone who knows what you don't and can do what you can't, and you learn everything about them, how they think, how they plan. I don't know what you want to do. Maybe you want to be a restaurateur or a builder or a mountain climber or an entrepreneur or a computer programmer. Find someone that you can study and study everything they do. Get their books, study them on YouTube. You don't even have to meet them. You say, well, I want my own style. Your own style will happen automatically. Whatever you want to do, find yourself a mentor. If you found somebody who knows what you want to know and you studied them for 30 minutes a day for just 6 months, would that make a difference? And would that be a joy?